We're going to revisit parts of the Navy Yard shooting because Tamara Holder, one of our legal eagles, is here to talk about the legal aspects of Aaron Alexis' past. He had been arrested several times, and in fact, the Navy had begun proceedings, to actually separate him from the military. It raised enough red flags with them. But how come he was still given access, though, to the Navy Yard? I mean, is this okay? I mean, is this kind of regular procedure?
Well, we have to look at it, I think, as a public policy versus individual rights perspective, because in most states we have expungement statutes, which allows people to clear their criminal records if they haven't been convicted. And that's what we're seeing with this man. Mr. Alexis was arrested or investigated for 1 or 2 gun offenses. But gun crimes are not violent crimes. They're not. It's not a domestic battery. And we've seen governors pardon people for violent crimes, and then the person goes out and reoffends.
Sure.
That's generally the fear. But in this situation, an offense for discharging a gun without a victim or possessing a gun is not a violent crime. Now, the other behaviors, like PTSD, which we've heard maybe he has, or schizophrenia, those, I believe, are separate, but they don't go to the heart of whether he has a criminal record and the red flags with regard to that.
Well, the problem is what I'm hearing, though, is that he had several instances of separate kinds of issues in his life that nobody connected the dots. No, there was no one person that's saying, we are mind, body, and spirit here, and perhaps all of these separate incidents, the cussing and the violent kind of outbursts, were connected to something else, and were connected to something else. Doesn't the legal system have some kind of pathway they can take to say, let's combine all these dots and say, not safe?
No, because what generally happens is when somebody gets arrested, they go to the police station, they get booked. Unless the person has a background, by law, the police department has to submit their fingerprints to the FBI. Let's say the person's wanted for murder in Montana and they were arrested in Illinois. Then we know to hold them. But without that, the person's arrested, they may or may not go to court, and then the case is dismissed or they serve their time. But the only thing that the court system has access to is one's criminal background, not their mental health background, unless they display some kind of weirdness while they're, say, in custody or in jail, showing suicidal behaviors or whatever. So and this goes to the heart of privacy matters and Obamacare and these political issues. It's not just a gun debate.
Right.
How much care do we want to give people who are sick? How much access do we want courts to have with people who have a mental health issue?
Because I'm sure there are a lot of people who have mental health issues and they don't go around shooting people. But there's got to be some way to comprehensively understand if they are a risk. I mean, again, can't the legal system have some sort of extenuating circumstances? That doesn't exist, but could it?
Well, sure, in the event that it's already there with somebody's criminal history. But the problem is that we're the most incarcerating country in the modern world. And we have so many people behind bars. Forget convictions. Mr. Alexis is one of millions that are arrested and released and arrested and released.
Sure.
And so there's no way to really keep track of whether those behaviors are the result of a mental illness or some other issue, PTSD.
Yeah. We wonderful. So many of us are trying to figure out, could this have been prevented? From a legal standpoint, do you see where it could have been prevented? Was there any kind of legal recourse that could have prevented this from happening?
Legally, no, I don't, because he did not have a criminal background where there was a pattern and practice of convictions. The fact that he discharged a weapon accidentally in his house, unfortunately, happens with gun owners every once in a while. I'm not saying it's, but accidents occur. So that alone is not a sign that he was going to go out and commit mass murder. I think the bigger issue is, what is our military doing to vet people and to make sure not only who's getting access, but who's getting care. If you are showing signs of PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, how do we take care of our veterans and other people who work within our government?
Yeah. All right. I want to thank you very much for that wonderful insight. Tamara Holder, criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.